All right, morning. Welcome back to the channel. I'm doing another version or installation of the Porsche Macan long-term review series. Yeah, in the Macan today, we're gonna go look at a couple more houses in the mountain area around the Charlottesville part of Central Virginia. It's a rainy day, so we're gonna do some highway driving and maybe even a couple little small fire roads to get to some of these cabins. So we're gonna see how the Macan does and kind of go over the on-road dynamics of some real-world testing of what kind of miles per gallon and whatnot that we're getting for just kind of baseline the car some more. So we'll check back in once we get on the road. All right, so let's get into on-road mannerisms real quick. You know, I don't think that the Macan does anything amazingly, but I think it does everything great. It's a really awesome kind of long-distance cruiser. I think it really blends in. I mean, it feels rock solid when you're driving it. The steering's a little more vague than I would like. I think it's the Continental tires. I think if it had some Pilot Super Sports or something, it would definitely kind of wake up the feel. But the electric steering does have a little bit of feedback. I know that's a kind of a downside that people like to bring up a lot, but it's not a sports car. It doesn't. I mean, it has Porsche build quality, and it feels like a Porsche when you're driving it, but not a 911. You know, I've driven a bunch of other Cayennes and whatnot, and you buy a Porsche SUV for the kind of the fit and the finish and the on-road dynamics. And I mean, it's a gorgeous interior. I mean, look at the cockpit here. It definitely feels special when you're driving. It's not exactly a torque monster on the highway either. I run in sport mode sometimes just to wake things up a little bit. Obviously, it's a rainy day right now, so I'm not going too wild with it. But you really got, like I said before in the other review, you really got to put your foot into it to really access the power and the higher RPMs, which is fine, you know, doing some quick passes or whatnot. But it doesn't really have that low-end grunt to really shove you back. You know, when you get the turbo spooled up and it gets moving, it really does kick you back. But again, it doesn't feel insane or anything like that. It's just very adequate, and you know, it gets up and it'll cruise at any speed, you know, very smooth, very easily. The air suspension is great on the highway, and I have to say that I don't prefer air suspension for performance cars or handling dynamics, but in this application, absolutely no issue. We're going up hopefully on some dirt roads that hopefully don't have a lot of snow. Hopefully this rain has melted everything, but it does help, like you saw in the snow video with the off-road mode, being able to lift up an inch and a half. That definitely gives you a little bit more confidence going into situations where you're not sure if you're going to have to access, you know, non-tarmac surfaces. And yeah, you know, the miles per gallon probably could be better. We do probably around 18 to 26 on the highway. I probably should reset that. It's raining. I'm going not slow, so those numbers would definitely improve with less of a heavy foot. Look at that, we're doing 85 at around 2100 RPM, so it kind of shows you where we're at on just the cruising standpoint. But you know, steering's tight. It does nicely. It's really stable, even in the kind of the rutted highway troughs of rain. No issues, and yeah, it's great. It's really enjoyable. So you know, that's just a quick hot take on highway driving the Macan. Well, grabbing some gas. You know, I think we ended up around 18 miles per gallon, and that the computer was not reset, so it's probably really used to around city driving. So I'll reset it for some more highway driving. But we're about to hit a 2-lane for the next few miles, so no, not gonna be much improvement on that road. But you know, it's always interesting. You know, different gas stations that frequently don't have a lot of cars that use the premium have a risk of, you know, sometimes having slightly contaminated gas. So I wondered if that batch that we had wasn't that great either. So we're out of sheets, I'm gonna fill it up and try it again. Oh yeah, one more other quick note. Another great thing about it, again, first time I've ever been associated with a vehicle that had, kind of intuitive Apple CarPlay. And this one has it. It's not, the newer models have the larger screen, but man, it's nice to be able just to sync your phone and run Waze or something right on the screen instead of, mount your phone somewhere or something like that. So, modern stuff, I'm not super used to it, but it's a really great feature on these. All right, another gripe that we've been messing with for the past 20 minutes is the windshield wipers. This is the lowest setting. And I think there might be speed sensitive because it'll actually get faster. If you look there, I have it set to the lowest setting. You can go up more, and it doesn't really change it all that much. And then you can increase the frequency and it changes it, but if you bring it all the way back down for just normal intermittent, all right, that's off. That's the lowest setting. It's pretty annoying. And the frequency is pretty high still, so yeah, that's a gripe. And it's actually, even if you turn it off, again, the rain is just at that perfect amount where this is too much when you're driving slow. You gonna turn it off again? Alright, so this is where the Macan really comes into his element. You've got a comfortable, smooth ride all the way to where you're going, and then when the road gets interesting, it pretty much turns into a sports car. It's really the best of all worlds. This is a great little stretch of road, kind of northeast of Richmond / Charlottesville. I'm not going to say the exact location, but yeah, this is what it's all about. This is what's pretty fun about it, and this is where you want to have a Macan. It's just too bad it doesn't make more sounds. Definitely not a 911, but it gets up and goes fairly well. All right, so now we're off-roading. Not really, this is just a gravel access road, but not really a place you drive a Macan every day. Luckily it's not icy or anything like that, but it's always kind of fun to hit these little gravel roads. Yeah, I don't think, luckily there's no snow or anything, so that helps. Better than when we went to a similar journey with the Land Cruiser. So hopefully it'll get a little more interesting, but we'll see. All right, we're gonna take another run back up the hill. But PDK really does, I mean, you don't really need to touch it. It does its own thing, and it does it really well. Lots of grip. And not a lot of visibility, and that's the top. All right, so I thought I was done, but I'm back on the wipers. So now we're stuck in traffic, and we're going slow. And I've got the wipers in their absolutely lowest setting, and they're going at their lowest setting. So there has to be something off with the speed calibration or the speed sensing, because again, I don't drive slow, but I want the wipers to go slow, and apparently the Porsche does not let me do that, which is kind of annoying. The other gripe, which now that I'm thinking about it more, is the brakes in standstill traffic. I didn't look up. I don't know if these are electrically assisted or actuated brakes. They feel like they might be, just because they're really grabby at low speed. They're not super great for stop and go traffic. You know, you have a little bit of jerky and then it grabs all the way, which can kind of be annoying when you have other people in the car. So again, these aren't real terrible things, but you know, just little things to kind of think about if you get a test drive one. Yes. All right, headed back now. Look where we are, after mountain again, and again we can't see. This is great. But always change conditions, but a little less worrisome because it's not icy, it's just a little bit of fog. But yeah, headed back. Macan's done great. Again, this is just kind of a real world driving review of the Macan, kind of just calling it as I see it. You know, there's a lot of people that are looking to buy these things used that, you know, don't have a massive budget for it, just want something a little bit more interesting like we did. And it functions kind of 100% as a relatively normal car. And I think that's all I'm trying to really convey with these reviews is, you know, it's really a very decent, well-rounded automobile, and I think it's to get a lot of car for the money, especially at a used price point. So I wouldn't be too afraid for it. I wouldn't shy away for it. Just make sure you get the right one and you do a little bit of research beforehand. As you can see, the wipers are still being super, super annoying. And yeah, that's all I got for this video. If this is the first video you saw in the series, feel free to check out the other 3. I did one on snow driving and then initial impressions. If you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe. Appreciate it. See ya.